Today's lesson is multi-step equations. In previous lessons, we have done one-step equation, and then we moved on to two-step equations, and now we're on to multi-step, which just means anything more than two. So that could be 3 steps or 4 steps or however many steps it takes. Now remember, just because we're adding more steps to it doesn't mean that we're making it harder or more complicated. It's just that we're just adding extra steps of things that you already know how to do, that we've already learned in previous videos. So don't freak out, just take it step by step, one step at a time to get your final answer and solve them for the variable. Let's start with our first example. -20 equals -4x minus 6x, okay? Now, this one is actually really a two-step equation, but we're just going to start off simple, make sure we know what we're doing, okay? Just kind of a different look, okay? Because now our equals number is in the front of the equation, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just the same way, front or back, doesn't matter. So when you see this problem, you notice that your two numbers on the same side of the equal sign both have a variable, and they both have the same variable. They both have x as their variable, which means those are like terms, which means that we can combine these. Now when you combine them, you just do exactly what it says. As we've done before previously, -4x minus 6x. You just combine them straight across. So you have -4 minus 6, -4 and -6, you add those together and keep it negative. So -4 and -6 would equal -10x. And then bring down the equal sign and your -20. Now here, we only have one more step to do because our number is attached to our letter and there's nothing else on this side. So we go ahead and divide. We do the opposite of what's being said, which is multiply. We divide here by -10 on this side, -10 on this side, and our final answer, after we cancel these out, bring down our x, -20 divided by -10 would be +2. Remember, a negative divided by negative equals a positive. And that's our first simple example for multi-step equations. Let's add another step to it. 6 equals 1 minus 2n plus 5. Okay, so this one, you notice we have 3 terms on this side of the equal sign. We have a 1, we have a 2n, and we have a 5. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is see, can we combine any like terms? Well, we can, and what are our like terms? Well, we have our 1 here, and we have our 5 here. Now they both don't have a letter, so we can combine them. Our 2 in the middle does have the variable attached to it, so we can't combine it with our 1 and our 5. So we leave this by itself for now, and we combine 1 plus 5. It's +1 and +5. So combine those straight across, just like we do. 1 plus 5 equals 6. Bring down our -2n. Remember that negative is in front. That minus stays there. Okay, it is -2n. Bring that down. And bring down our equals 6. Okay, now we have now we're down to 2 steps, right? We have our 2n, our -2n, and our 6 here. So what do we have to do first? Well, remember the last thing we do is move the numbers attached to the letter, okay? So we have to look at our 6 here. Now remember, our minus sign goes with our 2. It's in front of the 2, so it makes the 2 negative, not the 6. The 6 remains positive. So, to get rid of the 6 here, we have to do the opposite of plus, which is to minus. So -6 here, and to this side, -6 there. Our 6's cancel out, and 6 minus 6, doing the math, equals 0. Bring down our -2n. And of course, if your answer is going to equal 0, here, when we divide by -2, our answer stays as 0. Okay, and that's our final answer. So it really is just one extra step, right? You know, previous lesson with 2 steps, we had to get 2 terms off, move 2 terms away from the letter. This time we had 3 terms, but it really just was one extra step. I mean, we're just combining like terms. That's an easy thing to do. Okay, so we're not making it more hard. We're not making it more complicated. We're just adding an extra step or 2. Okay. Next example, 8x minus 2 equals negative 9 plus 7x. So now we have, if you look at this, now we have our variables on both sides of the equal sign. So I know you've done this in the past. We have to get our variable on one side of the equal sign and our two numbers that don't have variables on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, so we're basically switching sides. Maybe taking in our letters, putting it on this side, taking in our numbers without letters, putting it on the opposite side. Okay, so this is the time where we have to move it to the side. So you can move the letter to either side, doesn't matter, but the way I like to do is I like to keep things positive. I like to make sure that my letters try to stay as positive if they can. So we have 7x here and 8x here. So if I want to stay positive, I have to subtract. I have to move the 7x over to this side. So our 7 is positive. Let's go ahead and subtract that. Remember, opposite. Take the whole thing. Don't just take the 7. Take the whole 7x and move it over to your other side with the letter. Okay, so you're not moving it to the 2 because the 2 doesn't have an x. There's an x here. You're moving it to your other x on this side. Okay, so that cancels out. You have 8x minus 7x, and that's just going to equal 1x, or just x. Now bring down the rest of your problem. Bring down your minus 2, bring down your equals, bring down negative 9. Okay? Now, we have to get our negative 2 to this side. Okay, our x is already by itself, but we still have this minus 2 right next to it. So we have to move that to this side. So it's minus 2, do the opposite, and plus 2 here, plus 2 here. Our negative 2, positive 2 cancel. Bring down our x, and x equals negative 9 plus 2. Now, a quick side note. When you're working with positives and negatives and you're adding and subtracting negative numbers, okay? If you have a positive and negative, okay? You subtract it no matter what. Highest number minus your lower number, okay? In this case, our higher number is 9, our lower number is 2. So you subtract those numbers, 9 minus 2. So 9 minus 2 would be 7. Now, look at the signs. Your higher number, 9, is negative. So whatever your higher number is, the sign negative, that's the sign of your answer. So if your higher number is negative, your answer is going to be negative. So negative 7. Negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. Okay? And that's going to be our final answer. Okay? So once again, not that hard. We just added, all we had to do was put our letters on one side, our numbers on the other side, and then just moved it. Easy peasy.